The name's Bond. James Bond. You gotta dress up nice for a James Bond movie. Ian Fleming's Dr. No. So Dr. No is the very first James Bond movie made back in 1962, and it stars Sean Conroy as the iconic spy James Bond. Now, the one thing I found really interesting about this movie is that its very beginning is a whole lot different than any other James Bond movie. It doesn't have the, yeah, classic songs. It doesn't have the, you know, big production value and whatnot, because this movie was made under $1 million, so you can definitely tell that this is a very cheap movie to make. But the only song that is actually playing in the beginning is the iconic James Bond theme, which that was not a big problem. And then after that, it moves on to the song Three Blind Mice, and you see three men walking around in the dark and whatnot. And first off, I was thinking, what the heck am I watching? But this movie really does have a big Jamaican feeling, which is probably where they filmed this movie and where it takes place, because it jumps around from island to island and whatnot to search for this man named Dr. No, a scientist who is trying to take down the United States space program and whatnot, and James Bond has to stop him. Now, Sean Connery as James Bond, it makes James Bond as he is today. Kind of like this dashing guy that charms all the chicks and whatnot. He is the guy that every man wants to be, and also he dresses up really nice. Yeah, that's not a lose right there. But he really shines as James Bond himself. He is the one that invented the character as he is. And for any other actor who has played James Bond after this one, always has to have that dashing feeling that Sean Conroy invented for the character. I mean, I've seen several James Bonds. I've seen Roger Moore. I've seen Daniel Craig. I've seen... oh, God. What's the James Bond from GoldenEye? Yes, I know, I'm stupid. I'm that stupid. But anyway, they all have that same feeling for James Bond, and it's also an endless experience, because every time you watch a James Bond movie, you're thinking to yourself, they all seem the same. There's a bad guy doing something, and then James Bond has to go out there, and there's a chick involved, and he always ends up with a girl in the end. So, what makes people come back to every single James Bond movie? Well, that's because each one has a very iconic story, and each one has a different version. Like, sometimes you're hunting down a killer, sometimes you're hunting down a man who's trying to get rich, sometimes you're trying to catch a guy who is involved in a space program. It's in several different locations, and that's what's really great about James Bond. And the one thing that I thought was really cool about this movie is that it was made under $100 million, and it definitely shows, but it's still interesting enough for you to watch it. I mean, there are some scenes where James Bond is sitting in the dark with a gun in his hands, and then a guy just walks in through the door, you can see the gun, shoots the bed, thinks he killed James Bond. Classic spy stuff. That's what this movie has. And the most electronical thing that they got in this movie are basically these boxes with a bunch of buttons on it. You know those little scientific things that were on Gilligan's Island that was supposed to look futuristic and whatnot? That's in this movie. So you can definitely tell it's a very cheap production. And also, the biggest vehicle that they have in this movie is this box and whatnot that is shaped like a dragon's head. And the first time I saw that, I was like, what is that thing? Seriously, what is that thing? So you can definitely tell it's a low-budget movie, but it's still a very interesting movie to watch. I would recommend checking it out. Dr. No, in my book, is definitely legendary. It's the movie that started James Bond's career, so it's not a complete lose. So Dr. No, have you guys seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.